What are the 4 ways that I can come and stay in the United States permanently? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our office here in St. Louis, Missouri. We get a lot of contacts either through the phone or the web by people who are overseas asking, Jim, how can I stay in the United States? How can I come and get lawful permanent resident status? That is, status that pretty much can't be taken away from me unless I commit some crime or break some rule. How do I get that permanent residence? Remember, that's the last stop before citizenship, and this is something that a lot of people are really interested in. So we thought we'd shoot this video to explain the 4 basic ways that you can come and stay in the United States permanently. The first way would be if you are from a country where you are facing persecution. If you're in the United States and you're facing persecution back in your home country, you could come and apply for asylum. Asylum is basically the same thing as a refugee, except for people who are in the United States. So refugees are people from war-torn countries who apply through the UN to come to the United States, and they get to stay. The flip side of that is asylum, and that's for people who are in the United States and are from a country where their government will persecute them or other people will persecute them and their home country will not protect them. They can apply for asylum. And if someone is granted asylum, then a year later they can apply for lawful permanent resident status. So who gets asylum? Asylum is available for people who face persecution because of one of 5 categories or reasons. One is their political opinion, one is their race, one is their religion, one is their national origin, and one is their membership in a particular social group. That last one is a little bit tricky because a particular social group is sort of a catch-all or a group definition that allows the asylum officer or the attorney who's representing them to classify them as a member of a particular group from a particular country that faced persecution back in that home country. For instance, right now, we are representing a young man from Burundi, and he's a member of a minority group there, and because of that, he has applied for asylum. So it's not based on his religion. His case is based on his political opinion and on his membership in a persecuted group. The best way to show future persecution is by demonstrating past persecution. So a really important part of any asylum case is to demonstrate that you have faced persecution in the past, because that's going to help show that you have the likelihood of persecution in the future. When you apply for asylum, you wait and wait and wait for an interview with an asylum officer, and if the asylum officer grants your petition for asylum, then you're allowed to stay in the United States, and like I said, 1 year later you can apply for permanent residence. So that's one way to get permanent residence. A second way is if you work for a business and that business or employer is willing to sponsor you for a green card. Now, this process is very difficult. A lot of people call me or email me from overseas who think they can just come over here and get a job anywhere and be sponsored for a green card. The fact of the matter is that there are a limit on the number of these green cards that are available every year, and the process itself is very difficult. The employer, the company, they have to go through a ton of hoops in order to get you lawful permanent resident status. They have to file forms with the Department of Labor. They have to advertise the job. They have to see whether there are any Americans who can do the job the same as you or better. And unless that's true, they're not going to be able to sponsor you. And that whole process is pretty expensive. It's called the PERM process. And a lot of employers are loath to go through it. They don't like to go through it because of its intensity and because of its expense. But if you are in the United States and working for an employer, and if you're doing such a good job, we certainly have cases every year where employers are willing to roll the dice and spend that money and sponsor someone for a green card. So employment is the second way that you might be able to get permanent resident status in the United States. The third way would be based on a family member, a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent residence family member. So these are sort of the 2 family relationships that would allow you to come and stay in the United States. You need to have that sponsor, and that sponsor has to have lawful permanent residence themselves or U.S. citizenship. U.S. citizens can sponsor their spouses, their children under the age of 21, and their parents. Those are called immediate relatives, and as the law stands now, those relatives are not subject to any kind of cap, and they can come to the United States just as soon as their paperwork is processed. So if you're married to a U.S. citizen, if you're the child of a U.S. citizen, or if you are the parent of a U.S. citizen, you're going to have an immediate relative visa available, and you're going to be able to come as soon as the process runs its course. If you are over 21 and the citizen of a U.S. Citizen, the child of a U.S. citizen, then you're going to be able to stay in the United States and come only 9 years or 10 years after your parent applies for you. So that process takes a lot longer. Lawful permanent residents are able to sponsor their spouses and their children. There are caps on that as well, and those cases can take anywhere from 2 to 7 years. So a lot of people really get frustrated with that, but those are the family relationships. The last family relationship that's available is for the brother or sister of a U.S. citizen, and those cases can take anywhere from 13 to 20 years. So as the law stands now, those are all visas that are still available. We'll see if that changes during the Trump administration and Congress. We'll see what happens. The last way is the one way that's really under attack, and that is the diversity visa lottery. So this is one that a lot of members of Congress are talking about doing away with, but as of right now, the United States sets aside 50,000 green cards, lawful permanent resident visas, for people from underrepresented countries. That is, people who are not from one of the 20 most popular countries in the United States. What I mean by that, right now there are a lot of people from Mexico, Canada, England, those kinds of places. They are not going to be eligible for the diversity visa, but everybody else is. If you have a high school degree, you can apply every October or early November and apply for the diversity visa. And if you get selected, you're going to get a green card. You're going to be able to come to the United States if you can get your case processed quickly enough. We've shot other videos that explain this process, but basically the diversity visa is the fourth way that you can come to the United States and to get your green card, which of course puts you on the path to citizenship. So those are the four basic ways: asylum, business related, family-based related, and diversity visas. So if you have any questions about coming to the United States, if you want to know what are the processes, we'd be happy to talk it through with you. You can schedule a Skype call with us, or we can talk on the phone. Our phone number is 314-961-8200. You can always email us at info@hackinglawpractice.com. If you like this video, please be sure to leave us a comment, share it with your friends, spread the word. We think these videos are helpful, and we hope you do too. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.